That is actually crazy to believe. I feel like the amount of games per season has gone up, Wolf, or something like that. There must be like some sort of games inflation. As T1 are going to be on the blue side here as we hop into Champion Select for game number 1 of our second last series of the regular season. K'Sante and the Rakan going to be banned away. T1 banned Rakan a lot, actually, and Peter has honestly been pretty good on these engaged supports. They're going to take away the Ashe and the Annie, of course. Both of these bans are imperative against T1. Generally, it is Caitlyn to follow up, but we'll see how things are going to adjust in this particular series.
Yeah. We also...
Oh, here we are. Okay.
Yeah, well, Lee Sin is banned, and you and I were talking about this before the show because Viego is actually disabled.
Yeah.
Until further notice because of a bug with his interactions with Aphelios. So the Lee Sin banning is going to be more common, I think, right now because Lee Sin and Viego are the 2 top junglers at the moment.
Yep. We often saw the Viego as a response to the Lee Sin that teams were happy to take away is they don't ban Varus and they don't ban Caitlyn. So I kind of like that idea.
Yeah. I mean, Jinx has been a common response to the Caitlyn too. If they wanted to take the Caitlyn, you expect, based on what T1 has shown us all season, the Caitlyn even flexible for them. We've seen a lot of changes, as there's the update, of course, that Viego's disabled. But they'll take the Cannon, and Zeus has been the best Cannon player here in the LCK. 2/3 of his wins. There have only been 3 wins so far this season, and 2 of them are his. One of them is Kana's, as I think the Viego, or rather the Cannon priority is a little bit high right now. But you trust that Zeus is going to...
Oh my god! Wow. Okay, call me. In his debut match against Faker, or his first match against Faker, I should say, he plays Faker's most famous pick. All right, fair enough.
Okay, that's a statement. And LeBlanc got buffed on this patch. We are seeing her a lot more. She's really strong. Despite Showmaker going 0-2 yesterday, he had insane prio against the Oner. It's a good matchup for the LeBlanc, but you could just really feel how much more agency LeBlanc has with the extra wave clear in this 13.5 patch. So we're seeing a very big change of drafting. We're moving completely away from bottom side prio, and now solo lane prio has gone up so high because of Kennen, because of this LeBlanc pick. The Taliyah also is very strong, and LeBlanc is strong into Taliyah. So that's part of why we're seeing LeBlanc too, is they will take the Caitlyn here now. I'll probably lock in a Lux with it, even blind here. It's a safe rotation.
I would agree. I think that Caitlyn Lux is too strong. Gumayusi are undefeated on it, I think, career-wide. So just not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, right? You know, you're offered something that you're extraordinarily good at, and you are going to take that one away. So, Kennen for Zeus. He's been fantastic on that champion. In fact, T1 have never been beaten on all 3 of these this season. Just something to bear in mind.
Yeah, it's looking good across the rift for their roster so far. As looks like Veigar will be picked up here.
There's a Veigar and a LeBlanc.
Yeah, and this means that this is going bottom. The Veigar, you have to imagine. We don't have a duo partner for this just yet. We saw Veigar Seraphine be the most common pairing, but there are other ways you can play this out.
And Nongshim themselves debuted the Veigar in the bottom lane with a Rakan. Rakan's been banned away this time. We've seen Veigar and Nautilus also paired together. That one lost.
Blitzcrank, very strong with the hook into the event horizon.
Yep. And I think taking away these champions that kind of destroy your ability to execute on your massive range advantage, that's a good idea. Is Vi going to be taken away alongside the Elise here on Nongshim's side, as Oner hasn't picked his jungler yet? And let's see what this next ban away. It might just be Nautilus to get rid of what have been the easier bottom lanes for Veigar to pilot.
Could be Leona too. You know, there's a lot of different picks. Seraphine very commonly used, you know, and it's going to give you a little bit more pushback against the Caitlyn Lux. So I like that idea. Oh, see a Varus ban here, as Veigar looks to be going to the top lane potentially here.
Yeah, I think
with this draft.
I haven't had too many solo queue experiences with the Zeri jungle working out effectively, or the Lucian jungle, to be perfectly honest. Now, I mean, you know, maybe they're doing that.
LeBlanc could actually be some sort of weird tech, too, where Nongshim think they can play the LeBlanc matchup into the Kennen and get some advantages there, because it's very difficult for the Kennen to actually trade effectively against LeBlanc because of her distortion. I
think Keria has actually played LeBlanc support before as well.
LeBlanc support is a thing. It is definitely a thing, but is it a good thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the good thing part of it. As Kassadin has been locked in, by the way, guys.
You know what? Actually, looking at this lane too, like Veigar, Lucian could be. They could be Veigar support as well.
T1, I think T1 are just jealous of the fact that Nongshim have been cooking. Like, they're like, wait, they got Veigar and LeBlanc. That's silly. We're picking Kassadin.
This comp is so crazy here for T1. They have insane scaling. They have insane engage. Like, the cannon's damage isn't going to scale very well, but it will... What are we doing?
So it's top lane Lucian into the cannon. And then it is... Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay, it's Lucian Nami.
And it's obviously, yeah, the casual...
Top LeBlanc into cannon.
I don't like either of these mages being in the top lane.
Yeah.
However, one of them is going to be in the top lane. That's just how
I would rather have the LeBlanc in the top lane than the Veigar, because the Veigar, it has event horizon, but it's not easy for him to get away from ganks in the long lane, whereas LeBlanc can distort, and LeBlanc into the cannon matchup, you have a little bit more power there. So I guess that's going to be the setup we see here. And it's very difficult for Wukong to have agency on the top side of the map. And Caitlyn Lux should be able to get some advantages against the Lucian Nami in the bottom lane. But you have this Veigar that doesn't functionally chain CC very well. Like, you have the Nami, you have the bubbles, etc. But it's very difficult to pull this off. And he's going to scale, but it's Kassadin on the other side with insane engage.
Yeah.
I like T1's draft a lot more. And this LeBlanc counter pick, which is what it is ultimately at the end of the day. I think we have to wait and see how it goes before we judge it, but it seems like an interesting idea that could work out.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the theory, especially with the fact that T1 picked the Kassadin. There is certainly going to be some wiggle room in the mid-game for Nongshim to try and show us what this composition is going to be capable of. I think that, you know, Kassadin into Veigar obviously has some advantages. Riftwalk being able to just go in and out of the cage pretty comfortably.
And you're also just playing in a matchup where you're not going to be under kill pressure at any time. So Faker should be able to just scale naturally here with no pressure. The prio advantages Veigar can get in this matchup will be very slight and won't be able to do much outside of lane.
Yeah. But man, what a curious composition here from Nongshim. Let's see how it goes as we hop onto the Rift for game number 1. All right, here we are under the Rift for this this game that we do have, as it's my
lethal
goodness.
tempo. Okay.
Lethal tempo LeBlanc.
Oh my god.
Now I think this is not the first time, and like a more auto attack based LeBlanc has been played, and I think it was purely come up with as a tech into canon, but I can't be 100% sure about this. I'm pretty sure it was done in the LPL, and thankfully, I believe we have... Oh, it was Flandre! It was Flandre
who did it? Oh, that would make sense.
And it was a million years ago.
I mean, I was thinking of the Shy, but...
And, okay, my phone just
Atlas
vibrated.
There's,
I 100%, I guarantee that was Papa. I guarantee that was Papa. It was Papa! And it was the Flandre special. All right, so Papa Smithy is watching today. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying it. Sorry for checking my phone, G-Son. But we did have to make sure that we double check. So Dundun going into the deep tech for this one.
Let's see how this goes.
And G-Son said unacceptable. So
you're in trouble.
Some monkers in the chat, please.
Busted.
Oh no.
So we'll see if Dundun gets busted this game or not for trying this out. Is, you know, in the laning phase here early, the Doran's sword start or Doran's blade start isn't going to actually hurt you that much, but we'll see how the build goes and what the impact is going to be in the mid game, obviously, because the spikes are very different here when you are going for AD. Overheal as well taken here, as you could see in the plating.
Yep.
So now we have the runes fully listed. Really interesting. Meanwhile,
yeah, Vital able to sidestep the Peacemaker, which may keep him alive, but does it keep him in the lane? No, it doesn't. Good sidestep though, and that's not a lot of summon spells remaining here, although 2 for 2 is going to be that particular trade. Oner now going to have to back away from his red buff as Sylvie does pay a visit. It is going to get confused, but not fully reset, so be able to take that one away. Full information given over to Nongshim.
See that indicator there of the leash, you know, on 13. You know exactly where the jungle is going to be, you know, where you can kite back. Is Calmy has lane prio here, like we said, but it's not like he has kill pressure. He doesn't get to do anything in this lane, which is why I'm glad that he did take the Unsealed Spellbook and not the Comet that we've seen some Vegars try to take to get prio, because it's just not that useful. You're going to naturally have that advantage, as we see the Caston still doing very well, even though he was nerfed. As Oner's coming in here.
Yeah, Sylvie is going to be able to get a decent Arctic Assault against him, though. Permafrost goes down as Oner in a bit of trouble. Vital just going to dash over the wall. There's the flash as well, but Oner picks up first blood. How the heck did that even happen as Peter steals away the kill? Oh no, Nongshim, it was almost so good.
And Faker didn't have prio here, so Oner decided, I win these because Wukong in the early levels versus Sejuani, yeah, you will get permafrosted, but they have bottom side prio. He wants to force this. This is the last time this was played by, it was from LGIM Sylph against Impact. It's been almost 10 years.
Incredible miracle, Sylph playing it against Impact. And this is the only time it's ever been played in the LCK, and it was 10 years ago, on the day that we're celebrating Faker's 10-year debut.
LGIM, that is a throwback team. Like, that's Hirai's old team.
Yeah.
That was the team that Nesty and IM MVP, the StarCraft 2 legends, were on as well. That's where the team had its origins, any GSL fans. But
yeah.
Cool to see, man. What a throwback. Because he will buy a Cull now on his first back. So just trying to farm up. So sadly, we won't get any more ideas about what the build is going to be just yet.
Nope.
And this is kind of unexplored territory, as we've just pointed out, 10 years since this last seen.
Well, Vital is going to dash forward. Great bubble onto Keria as Vital trying to make this one work, but Keria flashes. He's going to keep himself alive. And Peter unable to offer too much more. Double buffs on the Nami actually kind of cracked here in this bottom lane. Making up for him stealing away the kill there a little bit.
I want to see what the comms were in that replay, and I'm guessing because we haven't seen the replay for Oner getting that kill earlier, that it is going to be his first-person view when we do see it. That's just an assumption I have. We'll get confirmation sooner or later, but really interesting. He gets that early kill. Peter steals the kill away, but man, it's a 20 CS lead down there.
Yeah.
As this will be Oner in this replay. So red buff here for both players. Oner does have blue, of course, so he has a slight advantage here. But it's not that significant. Vital comes over, he flashes, then is able to get on top of Sylvie. Sylvie does an auto, and Oner gets the kill here. Peter steals the kill away from Vital, and 20 CS behind, massively favoring this for T1.
Yeah, the flash being expended by Vital really pushes it over the edge for me as well. Just without having that extra playmaking and safety on that bottom side of the map will mean that that lane is going to continue going horribly wrong here for Vital. And you can see that that is indeed the case. More than double the CS going towards Gumayusi's Caitlyn.
And you know what's interesting about this top matchup too for Zeus? His first Kennen win of the season, he played AD Kennen, actually, in the top lane. It may have been against Nongshim, in fact, but I cannot remember exactly what the matchup was, but I do remember he pulled out the AD Kennen and, you know, played Lethal Tempo, and it was very exciting, and Chronicle was losing his mind. But now he's playing the normal variant of the Kennen versus an AD LeBlanc here on the top side of the map. Dindon has some prio.
Yep.
And he's using that pretty well. Building that Cole, he's going to have a big spike of gold here when that completes.
Yeah, looking forward to when he completes his Kraken Slayer, which is his build of choice. He's got a few different things. Generally, it's Kraken Slayer and Blade of the Ruin King. And he's been playing this a hell of a lot in solo queue. That is how I know. Just went and checked it out. So, yeah, we'll see how it is going to go. It is not necessarily purely anti-Kennen tech. This is just a Dundon.
Yeah. It's just a strange Dundonism.
Dundonism, exactly.
Also, for context of other things Dundon has done in the past, he was the first player in Korea to play the Janna top in Challengers.
Oh, yes.
So that was a thing that he did, and then after he did it, it was banned a lot in the LCK, obviously, and then it was nerfed, of course, bounties were changed, but he likes to experiment. He likes to do cool stuff like this. This is kind of the nature of the beast with this guy, and he's still a very young player, and I think that type of experimentation definitely going to benefit him in the growth of his career.
And I actually think that players like that, I'm going to have to hold the thought for a moment here as Vital having to dash to get himself out of the way. Faker lurking towards this bottom side. Nongshim in trouble, but they do deal with the minion wave. And it looks like this dive isn't going to get any kills. However,
it's just more CS deny and more plate gold.
And now Call Me is going to rotate over. Faker gets out as Binding connects. There's the flash forward as Gumayusi unable to quite get the kill, but they get another heal out of Nongshim here. Bubble going to be avoided.
Still, I mean, that combo, even though he expends his flash, is just going to push Lucian out of the lane entirely, allows Faker to go back to lane here. And Faker dropped some minions for this, but it's not going to be too significant, actually. He's not losing a whole lot, and that may even be a cannon wave there in the mid lane. I don't think it is, but Faker loses almost nothing to try to set this up. They gain so much. The amount that Lucian loses is way larger than what Faker's going to lose, and they will be able to get a Drake out of this. And unfortunately, Call Me just not able to do anything here to contest this Drake. Sylvie is at least going to start off this Rift Herald. But man, T1 with all the early game advantages right now.
Absolutely outside of the top lane. But I don't necessarily know what AD LeBlanc is going to be able to scale into. Buys items that do a lot of work. Yeah. And yeah, Zeus going to walk on over using that enhanced Q. Call Me gets into the river though, and Peter is rotating up.
And, you know, he has the Vampiric Scepter now, but the difference in terms of what Kennen can do with that Hextech Alternator with the buffs to his Q and the AP scaling is massive. So Dunda didn't have the Scepter actually until just now, just teleported back to lane. So the Alternator advantage was pretty huge for Zeus, so he just kept hitting his Qs and eventually pushed LeBlanc out of lane, has that prio there to stop the Rift Herald. And T1, they had everything except Herald unlock, but they were able to deny the Herald too. Nongshim with their hands empty here.
Yeah, they do. Okay, Peter, oh dear. Good Bubble is going to buy some space here for Vital. Vital may oh, they were baiting the whole time, never mind. The ult is going to miss, but Gumayusi's dead. That's Vital picking up the kill. I don't know how it worked, but it worked, Wolf.
That looked like one of those T1 moments we were like, surely Oner's about to pop out of the bush, right? Like,
yeah.
They're like, oh, T1, this fight looks bad, but they're going to miraculously win it, right? Not this time. Guma didn't have flash, and now he's here.
He does pop out of the bush. It's just not that miraculous this time around. Keria just taking his horde of minions with him. He is a shepherd, after all.
And even though he wants to slop this back, does have his ult. Doesn't have any vision, though. Meanwhile,
yep. Call Me. Just going to put down an Event Horizon to play around in. He's like, it's a cage, but not for you.
Exactly. Keria's roaming up here. Call Me's up in the lane.
All right, the Ignite is going to be used here as a great little shield. And Call Me, oh, just hit by the very edge. Final Spark locks it down. Keria is pretty good at this video game, everyone.
It's just so T1. And that Keria is like, Guma, he didn't have flash. We're up too far on the lane. Guma dies. I'm not going to stop the backs with my Final Spark, but I have level 6. What can I do with this? It comes mid, and oh boy.
Here's the Cyclone, and oh my goodness, Vital is taking so much damage. Great bubble here for Peter, but it's going to be another one for T1. Oner's going to lock that one down. And now, Guma's also looking for first turret blood here towards the bottom side.
11 minutes.
It was kind of looking like the game was somewhat, you know, a game, and now it is somewhat, you know, a T1 slaughter. At this point in time, Zeus going to bother Sylvie while he's trying to take some shellfish here.
Yeah, we are looking at a game that is technically an official game that happened at the LCK, but there's no evidence to the contrary. Like, there's no evidence that, like, that's the case except, okay, hold on, Faker.
Yeah, has to flash, actually, to get out of the Event Horizon. Could be important here as Nongshim still able to get priority on this Herald.
And even though Zeus actually has...
Keria could be in trouble. He doesn't have flash, remember. That's a great light binding, but the bubble not going to connect as, my goodness.
Zeus has ult.
So much damage.
And flash, like, he's coming over here. He's a little bit too late, but I feel like if he's there a little bit faster with that final spark, maybe they actually win the team fight here with Faker's ult coming through. It doesn't have 11 yet, but that was a close call here. And regardless of these few kills going over, still a massive lead here gold-wise for T1 as it looks like, okay, Lux comes over, and the light binding actually only hits the one minion. He's able to get the kill there with the ult.
That's absurd.
It's just really nice aim there and uses the shield to allow Faker to push him super deep. And then this is with Ace in the hole from so far away. Vital is just not... We are talking about how this is an official game of League of Legends. It's not for Vital. It's just officially not allowed to play. I think Keria here defends himself, and look at where Zeus is. If he rotates down faster with the lane prio, maybe he actually ults here and Faker shows up, they win this fight, but it didn't happen.
Keria's movement in that, even in that moment when he's dying, was pretty impressive. But still, Nongshim, they're not out of it until their Nexus explodes, Wolf. I feel like, you know, we've made a lot of fish references, like the fish is on the boat. It's starting to get there, and it's only 13 minutes into the game.
I feel like it's a really unique fish, though, this time. I'm like, wow, we got a rainbow trout or something here. Like, what do we get? You know? Like, you caught the legendary fish.
It's a marlin. We got the marlin, but the marlin is kind of on the boat, you know?
It's like a marlin, but the like top of the fin. Okay, hold on.
All right, Light Binding going to connect here as 8 in the hole comes down, and Oner is going to follow up. I mean, it's just, never mind. They're able to at least stun up Oner here for a moment. There's just no follow-up damage, really, and Peter is kind of, he's fish food. Although I guess they're the fish in my other metaphor, so I need to probably work on that.
Well, you know, that was a passage of play that was very cool. It was very flashy, and everyone on T1 worked together as they normally do, and you could just see the moment where they're like, how do I sidestep this final spark, which is perfectly placed, but also be out of range of this Wukong? Like, Keria is just walking up at them. He's like, do I sidestep this? There's too much happening. He's like, if I sidestep the final spark, I'm going to die to the Wukong. I'm going to die to the Wukong either way. It's just, it's a nightmare for Vital. It really is a living hell.
Well, Zeus is taking some damage here towards his bottom side. His bubble is going to miss. Peter not able to find that one. And now Sylvie's going to back away. And Zeus is going to be absolutely fine. Still had flash.
Yeah, and Oner was fairly nearby.
5, 2, and 5 on the plates.
They have gotten a 15-plate game this season, but not going to be doing that this time around.
Yep.
As Peter,
that is a lot of damage onto Peter. I think he's just dead. Yep, Faker's going to collect that kill now. Vital looking a bit nervous underneath this turret. Gumayusi doing what he does best on this Caitlyn, destroying the structures.
And hilariously, I mean, like, this is not a moment we can really criticize Peter that much. Look at how much vision Nongshim have in this part of the jungle. It's insane. The one place they don't, where there's a control ward, that's where they're hiding, and you can criticize Peter a little bit for that, but otherwise they have an insane line of vision there all the way across, knowing there's a chance Oner's there, knowing these traps can be set, but Peter still gets caught.
Speaking of getting caught, I feel like it is just a matter of time before Faker decides to pull the trigger onto someone. Keria going to move on up. Oh, Light Binding doesn't connect there onto Sylvie. There were too many Krugs. Sometimes he gets saved by the Krugs, and it feels great.
My favorite TV show back in the day, Saved by the Krugs.
Yeah, Saved by the Krugs. It's a pretty good one.
It was legit, man.
Yeah. I liked Season 2 the most. It kind of fell off at Season 5, but like getting 4 good seasons, like, that's a pretty good show.
It was pretty top tier.
Yeah. I like when they changed hands. I think it was like a different company took over as Flash has to be used here by Keria.
Yeah, I like the episode where Fly was a pizza delivery guy.
Forgotten about that one. Oh, it was really good. He got up to some shenanigans.
Yeah, he really did.
I hope you guys enjoyed the show as well. As Dundun, we kind of haven't spoken about the,
I mean, it's just not relevant, unfortunately. He has Blade of the Ruined King, but he can't do anything. He's not going to beat this Kennen in the 1v1. And it's never a 1v1 in this game.
It is not. As that's a Cyclone, and Oner is just going to kill the LeBlanc. And it is just all too easy.
Zeus takes a few turret shots here, doesn't matter. And, you know, the ways in which T1 basically got such a lead across the map, with the exception of top lane, which they did eventually get very early on in the game, and then basically they just minimize the amount of space, the amount of real estate that Nongshim have, and then are constantly setting traps on their land, essentially, on what little land is left, like the Krugs, for example. The wolves of Nongshim are not safe. So basically, and you can't farm anywhere as Lucian, who, by the way, is potentially going to get Flame Horizon if this game goes long. I don't think this game is going long.
No.
And then they're like, yeah, Peter can't clear wards. You can't actually jungle as Sylvie. There's no camps that you can farm. And they're going to set their own trap here onto Faker, but he is a Kassadin.
With Merc Treads. As he's going to face check. Okay, there we go. Let's see whether they can chain the CC. He goes golden. Has an opportunity to at least break that stopwatch.
Zeus is coming up.
As the Primordial
Zeus
Burst
is here.
Comes on through, and there it is. The Slicing Maelstrom's going to get the triple stun. Peter's going to go down as an afterthought because the main one they want to take down is Call Me, and he will go. Nongshim, they tried to kill Faker. We've seen it so many times in the past. They were just barely unsuccessful.
This is T1, like, quintessentially. I mean, this is crazy. Okay, now you can't kill Keria. Are you crazy? Are you silly?
Yeah, Sylvie is dead. Vital throws a culling. It does not do very much at all. It's a pacifist culling.
T1 are like so good and so coordinated that they will put you in positions where you're like, that's illegal, he can't be there, they can't do this. And then T1 are like, yeah, we can actually, because we're all on the exact same page. Faker's gonna rift walk, flash the wall, and then we're gonna have our Kennen flash engage because we're just ready for this.
As Vital has to flash after he went in. Dundun looking for an opportunity, but distorts back as what? What was that snipe, Keria?
I mean, Oner has ult here too. I feel like Keria and Guma were never really in any danger.
That's like map hacks, mod check, like what?
This is one of the most dominant games and performances I've ever seen, and like, I know we get a lot of flack for praising T1, which is really silly and weird, but I mean, that's it's weird I even have to say that because this team is so good and they are doing things that I have never seen across multiple titles in my casting career.
Zeus might die. The bubble is going to connect. Dundun, the auto attacks reign supreme. And he grabs the shutdown gold as well. A little bit of that.
Yeah.
Nicely done there.
Picking up some cash. I do hope we get that replay again because the topside replay, we'll get obviously a replay of what happened down here in greater context. As you see us going for a W here this time around, Max into Q.
Yep.
Is buffed on this patch like we talked about earlier. The damage dealt here is actually highest for Zeus in this game, as he's done so much in the lane.
Yeah. Colney just going to walk on over, has the event horizon, and they're going to be able to get a lockdown onto Keria. T1 playing a little bit fast and loose and are going to get punished a little bit here by Nongshim.
Yeah, so T1 finally actually getting punished, which is...
I mean, this is exactly the time you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
They're 8,000 gold behind, right?
Yeah.
So we talk about like mid-game trough for like Caitlyn and for Kassadin and stuff like that. I mean, that doesn't really exist in this game. However,
I guess.
like, if there's ever a point of strength, it is right now for the Nongshim composition. Its Q's going to miss. Oner takes a bit of damage, but otherwise it's going to be fine. And it's Chemtech Soul again. We really need to have a conversation with Orcs about this. This is becoming an actual problem.
I mean, the thing is, it was kind of a problem before he got here, too. This is just way too much.
He's only exacerbated it, as now T1 looking to close in. Zeus not finding the most value with the ultimate, but I don't know where Vital went, but he's dead. And that is going to be Colmy going down as well. T1, they stake their claim on this dragon.
Faker
Zeus
wants
in the
more.
hole takes half of Dundun's health.
Faker wants more.
He does. Celebrating his 10th anniversary here as he will be rift walking forward.
He's got a lot of mana.
Yeah. Dundun just going to distract him with a clone. Imagine if that was the real Dundun. That would have been the Dundun thing to do in that situation.
T1 gonna do Baron here. A little bit late.
Yeah.
T1 standards.
Yeah, I know. Like 45 seconds late.
Yeah. As Keria, by the way, has just been following Sylvie around the map. Yeah, and just making sure he can't farm. It's very funny.
I think Sylvie was like, T1's items are better than mine. I'm going to go to their shop. And that's why he was coming out of that side of the map. I think that's how it was.
Because they have been grouped, T1 have in so many of these skirmishes. Sylvie actually has maintained a decent amount of farm, but Keria has been trying his best to make sure that doesn't happen. And it's so hard to engage onto a cannon. Like, this is not the first time this has happened. But this time Zeus doesn't have friends. So he is chain CC'd and dies. Doesn't have his ultimate either. And they get that, and they're like, we can do Drake, right? But they cannot. This time Zeus does have his ultimate.
Yeah, I even missed Vital dying in the replay. I was distracted by the cannon, and then all of a sudden, it was a dead Lucian.
Yeah. And Faker kills a little Blanc clone at the end of the replay. I'm glad we didn't have to go all the way down to see that, but...
We have moved to a 12,000 gold lead.
Yes,
the fish is currently being prepared. We are not. It's technically, I think, we haven't started making dinner yet. But we're like in the car, and we're all, like a a corner away from
I feel like the car stalled though, and like we have to ask somebody for like jumper cables. If you have jumper cables, so I'm just 5 minutes away from home.
But it's not even, it's not like a bad thing though, and so like it's just they want to admire the marlin that you caught today, and so we're not actually starting dinner just yet because we need to like admire it.
Atlas, Dancing Herald angle.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute, Dancing Herald angle.
Vital, don't kill Shirley, don't kill Shirley, don't kill Shirley. Shirley's still alive. Gumayusi in a little bit of trouble, or is he? I don't think so. As Final Spark's going to lock down the Lucian.
Oh my
they
god.
They take down the Nami, and Shirley's diving.
Oh my god.
Please, please, no! Oh god. In the meantime, Nongshim are also dying, but Shirley.
Oh, the Dancing Herald, man. That would have been the greatest fish to bring home.
Oh, it would have been. It would have absolutely been. As Dindin trying to get some autos here onto Faker. Faker tanking the turret for an absurdly long time. Chains are going to connect, but now it is an exposed Nexus. T1 looking like the Globetrotters here in this game. Absolutely dominant performance from start to finish, but it was a cute idea from Nongshim, right? We like